DATV, and the Greater Dayton Area League of Women Voters present Meet the Candidates.
Hi, my name is Peggy Berry. I'm a member of the League of Women Voters of the Greater Dayton area. I am here today with our candidate running for the office of Dayton Mayor. There are 3 candidates running for Dayton Mayor. Those candidates are Rennis Bowers, Gary Leitzel, and Jeffrey Mims Jr. And unfortunately, Mr. Leitzel and Mr. Bowers were unable to come because of a prior commitment. We will start our interview by having the candidate tell us about themselves and why they want to serve in the position of Dayton City Mayor. Mr. Mims.
Okay. Hey, thank you so much. I really appreciate this. I love the people of Dayton, and Dayton has been very kind to me as well as to my family. I've been able to raise my family here after being educated here locally at our Dayton Public Schools, Jefferson Township Schools, Central State University, Wright State University, and UD. So I am a Dayton product. I was fortunate enough to spend 3 years, 5 months and a day in the United States military, with 12 long months in Vietnam with the 604th Air Commando Squadron. And those skills that I gained in that process has enabled me to be the strong, dedicated leader that I've been over the last 40 years. So again, it's my pleasure. I'm happy to be here. And I'm the benefactor of Dayton, and Dayton, I hope, is the benefactor from me.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Mims. What is your vision for the city of Dayton going forward? You have 2 minutes to respond to that question.
Okay, we have a series of challenges. You may recall that we had the wind at our back. I know for the first 6 years of the time that I was on the city commission, we were leading the region in terms of the creation of jobs. We saw a challenge with regards to our area school systems in terms of how 2/3 of our children were coming to school 2 and 3 years behind in their developmental skills. We, along with the county and other organizations, Learn to Earn, worked to put a preschool program in place to get a 5-star rating for those individuals and to train them to be effective in that nature, so that those young people, when they entered school, would be in a better position to focus on their academic programs, thus creating down the road the pool of qualified workers that we need in this region to sort of regain that long tradition that we had by being a leader in manufacturing. And so many people know that Dayton was a primary leader with what happened with the Patterson family and others who made these very strong contributions as far as the economy and Dayton is concerned. So when I go back and look at where we're trying to go, looking at how we can continue to increase local minority hiring, increase those pools so that the dollars that we provide from the city, the taxpayer dollars that we provide, are going to stay here and circulate around this community. The other challenges that we have that we want to address, certainly I want to address, is how we look at making sure that more businesses, small businesses and minority businesses are able to get a strong footing and the support that they need to move again in a position to make those contributions to our community.
Thank you, Commissioner Mims. My next question for you is, what reforms in police policies and procedures would you like to see? What would be necessary to implement them also?
Well, first of all, we have about 130 recommendations from more than 100 courageous volunteers that we have from the community. We've had brought together prosecutors, police officers, rank and file police leadership, citizens, clergy, and they've given us some great work over the last 8 to 9 months. And as we look at where we're trying to go, the primary goal that we want to try to address is how we create conditions to make sure that there's a high level of trust between both the police and our residents. Making sure, again, that we give them the tools that they need to protect the citizens, because that's the primary purpose that we have of a major city, protect the citizens, and to increase that trust level between both the police and the citizen. Making sure that as they go through their daily process every day, like a lot of our police officers say, they want to go home at the end of the day, and every citizen deserves to have that same right to go home to their families at the end of the day. So the shot spotters, the training for more of our police to be able to de-escalate the kind of problems that we have, potentially, I should say potential problems, because we have not had the kind of problems that they've had across the nation. And additionally, looking at body cameras so that there is clarity with regards to what's happening, and other rules and regulations in terms of making sure that the citizens also have good information about their rights. Because as we enter into these situations, many times arguments may start between the police and the citizen because they may not be totally aware of what they're supposed to do or need to do relative to following a police response.
Thank
Those
you
are
so
key issues.
much for that response, Commissioner Mims. Um, what will you do to promote transparency and open communication with the citizens of Dayton?
Yeah. Well, that's a great question. And as we do everything we can to try to make sure that more and more of our citizens are aware of the things that are happening at City Hall, we fight to find the best way, because too often we hear that there are not things happening in my side of town, there are not things happening in my neighborhood, when there's been tremendous progress as rated by the fact that more and more people have moved into Dayton over the last 8 years and stayed here. They're happy. The things that we build, apartments, condos, we have like about a 95, 98% effective occupancy rate as far as those things are concerned. We need to find the best way of communicating our successes and our challenges. We need to find the best way of making sure that the citizens can see and come to many of the meetings that we have, like our work sessions that we have that are public, open to the public. Now everything is open almost because it's on Zoom. So they can see where the budget priorities are that we have gleaned from them, because we listen to them as well in terms of finding out what they want, and making sure that we create conditions so they can raise their families in a manner that I felt that my children had and many other children had who came up through Dayton.
Thank you so much for those remarks. In closing, we would like to provide you an opportunity for a closing statement, about 2 minutes, about running as mayor of Dayton.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, I am honored to be a resident of Dayton. And a lot of people are very much aware of the fact that I spent my time being trusted by parents, being trusted by the adults who let me have their precious natural resource, their child. Uh, being a teacher for 10 years, mentoring young people for the last 44 years, taking care of, again, our most natural resource. I think for any city, your young people are your most precious natural resource, and they are the gems that you have to carry on the legacies that we have as far as our community is concerned. And being a person who has had those experiences in working with younger people who are now people who, some of them have gray hair now, along with me. And I've been honored to talk with them, to talk with their parents who are happy with some of the kind of communication that we have, and to talk with some of their grandchildren or their children, and to see them gainfully employed and have picked up the baton, if you will, and are looking for ways to continue to contribute to the quality of life that we have in Dayton, not just for themselves and their families, but for all the other families that we have as well. And I think that when we look at those things, creating those conditions in terms of employment, healthcare, you know, the issues associated with education, issues associated with how we are viewed in the region and the state, makes a big statement that will make more and more people want to live in Dayton and stay in Dayton.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Mims. Thank you for participating today, and good luck with your campaign.
Okay?
The League of Women
This is
Voters.
a priority for mine, so thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you. The League of Women Voters encourages all candidates to run an issues-oriented campaign. Our goal is to educate the voting public and strengthen our elective political process. A virtual voter's guide will be available on our website in mid-April. Early voting for the upcoming primary election began April 6th at your Board of Elections, or you can request an absentee ballot. However you decide to vote, your opinion matters and helps make our democracy work. Thank you for joining us.